And we are ready.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a reading of Today in the USA, live. You're probably wondering what this show could possibly be about. And while we were creating the show, we asked ourselves that same question more than once. But before I answer, I'd like us all to imagine a time so forgotten and unimaginable. A time when toilet paper wasn't a luxury, when we would roam around Walmart just for fun, and before we all wanted to murder the people we live with. Yes, I want to take you back to January 2020. It was then that we decided to create a show about something meaningful and unique to us, school shootings. It was a difficult process as we struggled approaching something so sensitive and timely. But by spring break, it finally felt like we wrote something we were proud of. Once we found out we could no longer meet in person or perform our show in Scotland, we wrestled with whether it was the right decision to continue with our show as if there wasn't a worldwide pandemic. And although we understand the historic moment we are living in, we decided to stick with our original message and draw attention to a topic that is long forgotten by society. More than anything, we want to send a message of hope and realization. We want to make others feel how students feel in this country every day. We want others to understand how much school shootings have shaped the way that we view the world. But the thing we regret the most about this disruption is that we weren't the ones who were able to help create change. It took an entire worldwide pandemic to stop school shootings. And although we are glad that this is the first month of March since 2002 without any school shootings, we hope our message isn't blurred and it still carries the same meaning that it did when we first created it. There will come a time when students and teachers all across the country return to school. And with that, we hope it will mark the end of Generation Columbine.
Act 1. Dramatic, fun music plays over a dark stage as spotlights search for host. The voice of announcer booms over the music.
Washburn Theatre presents a United States student production, Today in the USA, live. And now your host, Peter.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It's so great to be here tonight in hosting Today in the USA Live. Oh, thank you, thank you. Well, I hope you're all enjoying yourselves tonight. Yes, you, sir, what did you do today? Ah, I see. That's awesome. Oh, and you, ma'am, how was your day? Well, I'm glad you decided to spend your evening with us because we've got a hell of a show for you tonight. Because tonight's show is about school shootings. Now I know what you're thinking. Shit, I thought this was going to be a fun show to relax and maybe fall asleep to. Now you're telling me that I'm going to have to sit through an hour of soul-wrenching sadness? Well, the writers of this show thought about that. So we're going to have an evening of fun-filled entertainment, full of jokes, satire, and humor. Well, now you're thinking, that scrawny child man said they're going to have a show filled with jokes about school shootings. Now, before you leave here in a fit of rage, let me clarify. This show doesn't joke about school shootings. They're a very serious issue, and we realize that. But we also realize that an hour of sadness isn't the answer either. So this show is an hour using humor and other means to talk about a very difficult subject in the USA today. So sit back, relax, and be sure to keep an open mind. Thank you. We've got a great show for you tonight. Taylor is here, so stick around.
Playoff music begins as the scene shifts. Teacher and students in a classroom. Teacher has an outline of the day on the board and is going over what's going to happen.
Okay, glad you all came this morning. I realize the viruses didn't keep you from school, but this is the plan for today. I hope you're ready to learn and succeed for the day.
Good morning, everyone. As you're starting your day, I wanted to inform you that today we will be having a few alterations to our all-school schedule. Due to the ongoing threat of school shootings, we will be having a lockdown drill today, so we will all be prepared if that unfortunate event should happen to us. We decided to warn you that it was on the schedule today so that you will not be unduly alarmed by it. We'll do that at 9:45 today.
Teacher adjusts schedule, crossing off reading.
Gosh. Oh, well, I guess we'll just have to do math and reading in our first hour today.
Sorry to interrupt again. Principal Smith just notified me that following the lockdown drill, we will be having a decompression talkback to discuss any fears you have from the entirely preventative but totally necessary lockdown drill. That session will start at 10:45.
Oh my gosh.
Adjust schedule, crossing off social studies.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess we'll just do math and reading and social studies in our first hour today. So let's take out your math book and turn to.
Sorry to interrupt again, but we just got a great opportunity for an assembly this afternoon from our state senator, who is making a campaign stop in our town today and offered to give us a motivational talk. We'll be hearing from Senator Old White Guy about the importance of personal freedom and the value of education today at 1 p.m. He really likes our football team, so he promised to be done for our 2:20 pep rally.
Teacher adjusts schedule, crossing off health and band.
Oh gosh. Well, I guess we won't have time for a combined health, band, and study hall today, but maybe we can go over the sex education lesson at the end of our first hour after math, reading, and social studies. So let's see, let's look at
I
the
really
first
do
topic.
hate to interrupt your valuable learning, but we just found out that there was an extra shipment of processed meat dropped off today, so we're giving you an extra 20 minutes for lunch. We don't want those hot dogs to go to waste.
Teacher adjusts the schedule again, crossing off choir and visual arts.
Well, we have a lot to do in this first hour. Oh gosh, look at the time. Let's go. Yes.
Looks back to the students and sees a student with their hand up.
What do you want?
Can I go to the bathroom?
Teacher gives up. A school bell rings as the lights go to blackout.
Make sure that over this Thanksgiving break, you keep school in mind because you never stop learning.
Silence, then a long shh. Lights up. A table is set for Thanksgiving as Riley and Rory are waiting for Mama to finish cooking. A knock is heard at the door.
Come in.
Sam enters dramatically. He is dressed in an American flag shirt and a red hat.
Oh, Sam, it's so good to see you. I'm just finishing up the mashed potatoes if you want to sit down.
Oh, don't mind if I do. Hey, kiddos, how's it hanging?
Hi, Uncle Sam.
So how's college?
Fine.
You got a boyfriend yet?
No, not right now.
Well, that's a shame. You're such a well-endowed young woman. Any man would be lucky to have you.
Thanks.
Awkward silence.
Alrighty, dears, dinner's ready.
Oh, good, good. I could eat a whole whale.
Awkward laughing commences from everyone except Rory.
All right, everyone, join hands and say grace. Dear Lord Baby Jesus, we would like to thank you for this food we are about to eat because we all know that you died on the cross, nails in hands, nails in feet, nails in places where nails shouldn't be so that we may eat this dinner. Let us pray that we will have a nice, peaceful Thanksgiving for once and no political discussions or discourse whatsoever. Save that shit for Christmas. In your name we pray, amen.
Awkward silence as everyone except Riley gets food.
Sweetie, aren't you gonna eat anything?
No, Mom. Sorry. You know, I'm vegan, gluten-free, keto, low carb, no cow, so I just can't eat anything.
I wish you would have told me. I would have gotten you something special. Is there anything you can't eat?
Water and lettuce.
I've got romaine in the fridge.
No, thanks. I don't want to die.
Oh, okay.
Awkward silence.
So Sam, what have you been up to?
Oh, stuff. I actually got a new weapon. It's the Savage model.
Riley rolls her eyes.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, let me show you a picture. I've got it here on my new BlackBerry.
Oh, you don't have to.
Oh, no, really, I'd be happy to.
Sam whips out his phone.
Here she is. Isn't she a beaut?
Oh, that's nice. Do you need one so big?
Well, yeah, this is the meat and potatoes of the American society. You never know who could try and mess with you.
Riley rolls her eyes and gives an even bigger sigh. Sam shoots her a glare.
Okay, but could we please put our phones away for the rest of dinner?
Fine.
Awkward silence ensues again.
Hey, Riley, since you're not eating anything, could you pass me the mashed potatoes?
You know what, Uncle Sam? I don't think I will.
Oh, okay. So now you want to restrict my right to mashed potatoes too, huh?
Well, next thing you'll want is instant mashed potatoes, and suddenly you're asking for gravy. And not just one gravy, you want brown gravy and white gravy.
Well,
Alrighty then. How about we all just take a breath? In, out. No, let's just try to have a nice Thanksgiving dinner.
well, I don't get why just because you don't want mashed potatoes, I can't have them either. I get why Rory can't have them. She's a little...
Don't you dare bring Rory into this. Just because you name it, she has it, doesn't mean that you need to insult her.
I'm not insulting. I'm just saying that there are all kinds of mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes, fried potatoes, boiled potatoes, baked tomatoes. And it's not the potatoes that do it. It's the forks. And there are some pretty rusty forks.
So don't let the forks have mashed potatoes. It's that simple.
Then the rusty forks will just get knives.
But knives will result in less broken forks. So if there's even a hope of reducing the number of broken forks, isn't that worth planning?
You're missing the point. Mashed potatoes are a God-given right. Our forefathers ate potatoes raw and enjoyed it. By golly, just imagine good old George Washington riding horseback, buck naked, biting into a raw potato. Now tell me, can you think of anything more American?
Sam!
Sorry, Mama.
You'll address them as parent, a gender-neutral term.
But honey, Mama's my name.
No, it's okay, parent. They need to learn.
Come to think of it, they had mashed potatoes at the first Thanksgiving.
And how do you know that? It's not like they had cameras.
They wrote it down. They passed it down from generation to generation. Your grandma, Sandy Cheeks, God rest her soul, she was right there at the first Thanksgiving. She was riding side saddle with George Dubs when they met the Indians for a peaceful dinner and treaty signing party.
Uncle Sam, that's not when or how the first Thanksgiving happened.
Oh, so now that you're going to a liberal arts college, you think you're smarter than me?
Sam, Riley, can we just finish our dinner in peace? We haven't even gotten to the pumpkin pie.
The longest silence ever perpetrated on the Scottish stage.
Could you please pass me the sweet potatoes?
Sorry, Uncle Sam.
God damn it! That's all I can take. I just wanted to eat some motherfucking mashed potatoes, and what do I get? Criticized by my own niece, no less.
If you don't like sacrificing your own wants for the greater good, then maybe you should just leave.
Maybe I will.
Good.
Good.
Sam and Riley storm off in opposite directions.
Oh, Rory, every year, why couldn't we have a nice Thanksgiving? Just once. For 1 year, I'd like to see them work together and compromise. Maybe decide that it would be best to eat mashed potatoes when it's the time and place to eat mashed potatoes. Wouldn't that be nice?
A few more seconds of eating.
Rory, honey, could you pass me the mashed potatoes?
Blackout. School bell sounds.
Welcome back from Thanksgiving break. We hope that you had a lovely time with your relatives. As for right now, first hour has begun.
Through the silence, the urgent buzzing of a cell phone is heard. Lights up. A classroom is seen with all the students talking amongst themselves. The teacher walks in.
Thank you. Now, I know there's been some talk about the new policy to arm teachers, and I'm here to calm any fears you may have about it. I'm sure that the new policy won't change anything about the classroom except your safety.
Teacher places their gun on the table for everyone to see.
Now, let's begin. Last time, we were covering everything from Machiavelli's The Prince, and today we're going to be talking about his view of fear. Would anyone like to read the quote I picked out for today?
Silence. The students are all staring at the gun.
Anyone? Anyone at all? No? No one? Really? How about you? Come up here and read it for the class.
Glancing at the gun.
It is
It's okay.
much safer to be.
Oh, it's okay, don't be shy.
It's much safer to be feared than loved, because love is preserved by the link of obligation, which, owing to the baseness of men, is broken at every opportunity for their advantage. But fear preserves you by a dread of punishment, which never fails. Niccolo Machiavelli.
Good. Now tell me, what did he mean by that?
Silence.
Was he trying to say that love is weak?
No, not even close. Anyone else?
Teacher begins to play with the gun.
Come on, you guys, you know about this. It's trying to say that fear is more effective means of rule than love. Now, why does he say this? Anyone? It's because people break the ties of love for their advantage, but it seems that they don't break the cage of fear. Did anyone get that? No? What's wrong with you guys today? You guys are so quiet. Tell me, what does Machiavelli want us to take away from this quote?
A fearful silence. Then,
I don't know.
You don't know? Did no one read the chapter?
We read the chapter, we just.
Wait, back for me now.
Student 3 walks out of the classroom. Blackout as the school bell is heard.
Attention, the institution has decreed that new measures be put in place for the safety of the staff and students.
Silence. Sounds of breathing, starting slow and growing quicker, are heard. Lights up. Barbed wire is spread everywhere, and a table with an agent stands before the school.
In a dystopian future, where school shootings were once rampant, meaningless laws protect the lives of the poor victims of the American public school system.
Mommy and Kelly approach the agent.
Are you excited for your first day of school, honey?
I'm so excited. I want to play dress up and show and tell.
That's nice, sweetie.
Okay, what's that there? Is that your backpack that I'm looking at?
Well, no, wait just a minute. What is all of this?
I'm the CPA agent assigned to your school.
What's the CPA?
The Child Protection Agency. I'm surprised you haven't heard of us. We're like the NSA or the CIA and all the things that keep you safe.
Well, I've never heard of you before, so we'll just be on our way.
Agent bolsters his firearm.
Ma'am, I don't want to use this, but if I have to, I'm just going to check this for you. Just as I suspected. What's this?
Agent pulls out a pencil.
It's a pencil?
Ma'am, this could be a projectile weapon. It could poke someone's eyes out.
But it was on the teacher's list of materials.
Sorry, you'll just have to do without this.
Whatever. Can we go now?
Wait, not so fast. what is, let's see, what is this thing? Is this an IUD?
Agent pulls out a calculator.
Don't you mean an IED?
Yeah, I'm not stupid. It's an explosive device. This will have to be confiscated as well. Oh, and what's this? This strange, yeah, what's this strange device?
Agent pulls out a tampon.
Oh,
You never know when you're gonna start. Am I right, ladies?
And your shoes. Take them off as well.
They light up, see? Boop, boop, boop.
Ma'am, you'll be more cooperative. The easier it'll be for all of us. Oh, and this, what is this thing in here in the bag? Is this a bunny? Or bunny's ears?
Mr. Bigglesworth?
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I actually pulled the ears off from Miss Biggles. I'm sorry about that. But this is
what is
odd.
the problem with a stuffed bunny?
There could be drugs in here.
What?
At least there's no drugs in the ears. Adults aren't the only ones getting into these days.
Agent removes Mr. Bigglesworth from Kelly with much difficulty.
Please proceed along the path past the barbed wire and guard dogs. Your cavity search will be in the tent.
I didn't know we were going to the dentist. Worst day ever.
Blackout as the school bell rings.
Dr. Goodman will now give his presentation on dangerous environments and their inhabitants.
Silence. Then the sound of heavy footsteps are heard. Lights up. A podium adorns the stage as Dr. Goodman addresses the audience directly.
Sorry I'm late. I had to beat an old lady with a stick to get here. I'm Dr. Goodman, as you already know, because this morning I found a send noodles sticker on my door, and I'm warning you, whoever did this will have something less pleasant coming their way. I'm looking at you. Now, on to today's lecture. Cuttlefish, the shape-shifting monsters of the sea. On the surface, they are an enigma, a strange-looking creature that looks like no other, and is obvious to anyone that sees them that it is in fact a cuttlefish. At least that's what we think. Are you on your phone right now? Really? I'm up here pouring my heart out, and you're just sitting there checking your messages? I want it away now, and don't get it out again. Where was I? Oh, yes. In fact, the cuttlefish can change their appearance to look like anything they want. They can blend into their environments with relative ease. And if a cuttlefish were of human shape and size, they could look like you or even you. And this is why it seems to other fish. 1 minute, they're staring at a totally normal rock, and wham! All they see is a flash, and in an instant, they meet their maker.
A quick blackout, followed by school bell ringing.
This concludes our school day. Be sure to enjoy yourselves with your free time.
Silence. Then the sound of a hand jiggling a door handle. Lights up. A place in the school with no other people around. Student 1 and student 2 enter.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen the new TikTok dance challenge?
We have to try it.
Let's do it.
A catchy bass line plays as the two dance the new challenge. The challenge entails finger guns and running away from the other while making a fun little dance out of it. Blackout. Lights shift then to a commercial break.
And now, a message from our sponsors.
The scene moves to a full classroom of students. Everyone is reading 101 Ways to Survive a School Shooting. New student walks in without the book. Everyone glares at her. Teacher gasps in shock and tackles her to protect her.
What the heck?
Shh, don't worry. You're safe with me under my book.
Scene moves to the lunchroom. New student sits at a table and everyone leaves as soon as she sits. Spokesperson enters.
Oh, what could possibly be wrong with me? Am I too boring? Are my clothes outdated? Do I have something in my teeth?
No, what you need is this.
Spokesperson whips out 101 Ways. New student stares in amazement.
What's that?
This is 100 Ways to Survive a School Shooting, your ticket to popularity and survival in high school.
Well, how do I get it?
Well, how do you get it? Well, I thought you'd never ask.
Scene moves to a classroom of students.
101 Ways to Survive a School Shooting is the perfect back-to-school guide for today's dangerous public school environment. This book provides you with the perfect solutions to an imperfect world. Today, we're going to give you a sneak peek into our exclusive life-saving tips and tricks. Let's jump right into tip number 1. Play dead.
Students drop to the floor. Shooter kicks one student in the leg and waits for any movement.
Nope, this one's dead. Let's go.
Tip number 2. Be nice to the weird kid. You know who I'm talking about.
You're weird, but it's okay.
Tip number 3. Tell a knock-knock joke to diffuse the tension. Don't be afraid to get creative.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang, who?
Tip number 4. Use the weak as a human shield.
Students encouraging a line leader as they take cover behind them.
It's okay.
Hey, you can do it. You can do it.
Lead the way.
And tip number 5. Bring your own gun, because if everyone is a school shooter, no one is.
Students mimic the cocking of a gun.
Order now and you'll be ready for fall 2020. For just 2 payments of $19.99 each, you can get these bonus gifts as a sign of our best wishes. A bulletproof backpack, a Kevlar vest, noise-canceling headphones, and a rosary. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer.
Thanks to 101 Ways to Survive a School Shooting, I'm cool and safe in an active shooter drill. Hopefully.
Appropriate for ages 5 to 18. Be aware, due to inactivity of politicians, this book has been approved by Congress in place of real protection of students or gun control. 101 Ways to Survive a School Shooting is not guaranteed method of protection against an active shooter. 101 Ways to Survive a School Shooting cannot be held responsible for any accident, injury, or death while using the book. Warning, this material may cause serious harm, trauma, or PTSD for the reader. Suggestions in the book might result in harm to self or others. Please use responsibly. Published in part by the National Rifle Association. Blackout. End of Act 1. Act 2. The scene shifts to a child's bedroom with paintings and toys scattered around. Dad and child are sitting on a bed watching the late night TV show.
Hey, thanks for sticking around with us tonight. We've got some great acts coming up, so don't go anywhere. But before we get on with the show tune, tomorrow we have special guests, Emma Gonzalez and David Hogg, 2 high school students turned activists.
Dad turns off TV.
Honey, all right, honey. It's late enough. Time to go to bed.
Oh, come on, Dad. Can I watch a little more? I promise I won't tell Mom.
That's an interesting offer, but I think I'll have to say no.
Well, can I stay up late tomorrow night and watch?
Sure, tomorrow night, but right now it's time for bed.
Well, can you tell me a story first?
Okay, just one, then it's Betty bye time.
Okay,
Which story do you want?
a new one.
Okay, let me see, I've got this book. Oh yeah, here's a new one that you've never seen or heard. Okay, this one is called The Soldier and the Old Woman. Once upon a time, there was a soldier and an old woman. The soldier was the most courageous woman ever. She was young, proud, and even strong. Every little girl in the village wanted to be her. One day, death came to the village and rounded up all the people who he decreed to die. Among them were the soldier and the old woman. Death went down the line of people and asked every one of them, "Are you ready to die?" He asked each one, and each one pleaded for more time in their life. Finally, two were left, the soldier and the old woman. Death asked the soldier, "Are you ready to die?" And she said, "I am ready to die." But her voice shook and her hands trembled. And finally, she fell to her knees in fear of death. All her courage had prepared her to face death, not yet. Then death asked the old woman, "Are you ready to die?" She raised her withered head to death to look him in the eyes and said, "I am ready to die." Death nodded at her with respect and took her. Even though the soldier had spent her whole life preparing for death, she was scared to die. The old woman had spent her whole life preparing for death and was wise enough to accept him with open arms. She was more courageous than anyone, even the soldier, because she accepted the unknown. She accepted what she could not control.
Wow.
Dad gives Child a goodnight kiss and tucks them into bed. He turns out the light, and just as he's about to leave,
Hey, Dad, I think I'm ready to die.
Dad turns around and sits on the child's bed.
Why do you say that?
Well, I think I'm like the old woman because I'm ready to die.
Sweetie, you don't have to think about that for a long time.
Well, yes, I do.
Why's that?
Because of all the drills we do at school. The lockdown drills. They tell us we only have to do them to be ready for something that won't happen, but I don't believe them.
Why don't you believe them?
Well, because why would we do them if there's not something scary that could happen? But don't worry, I'm ready to meet death. I'll stand up to him like the old woman and say, "I am ready to die." And he'll take me forever.
Dad gives Child another kiss and starts to walk out. Dad takes one last look at his child and walks away. The stage is dark. Noises are heard behind the audience, footsteps clicking. Child hears them too and wakes up, scared. Blackout. Someone is alone. They open their eyes wide and gasp. Then a pair of hands cover the someone's eyes. Stillness. Blackout. School bell rings.
Welcome back, students. Be sure to see the cast list for the school play and remember to think about staying safe at school because we've had 2 injuries in the hall so far this year and we'd hate to have any more.
Silence, followed by the sound of feet running faster and faster. A lunchroom can be seen with lights up and a focal table where the popular students sit. There is the normal conversation taking place with everyone except Weird Kid. The rest eagerly wait for Alex as he enters. Alex is bombarded by a series of fond greetings as he approaches.
Hey, Alex, come on over.
Guys, did you see the new cast list? It's honestly crazy that Carrie even got cast after how bad she did in the last show.
There is agreement among the popular kids.
You're so right, Alex. You want to sit down?
They see that there are no seats left and all eyes land on Weird Kid.
Hey, could you move so Alex can sit down?
Weird Kid leaves sheepishly and glances back with a flash of resent.
So, Alex, I saw you got the lead. That is so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm not even surprised.
I know, guys. If you get all A's and practice hard enough, maybe one day you could get the lead like me.
I wish. See you at rehearsal?
My dad's picking me up for an appointment, actually. I'll see you guys in school tomorrow.
The scene shifts to Alex slipping into a dark room and opening the top drawer of a dresser. Alex pulls out a gun and stares at it. Silence, then blackout. A school bell rings.
Make sure to check out the club signups outside the school counselor's office. Another day at school, another day to make a difference.
Silence, then the sound of a door handle and a door opening. Lights up. Dad and child are seen saying goodbye.
Okay, honey, you have everything?
Yeah, Dad. I never forget anything.
Good. I'll see you after school, okay?
Okay, Dad.
Child runs off to the bus.
Wait, you forgot your goodbye kiss.
Child, unwilling to give up their goodbye kiss, runs back. They embrace and Dad kisses child on the forehead. Dad holds back tears.
I love you, Dad. Forever.
I love you too, forever.
Child runs off to the bus. Blackout. Spotlight on Dad. Dad is left standing in the dark, staring after his child. Dad breaks down. Blackout. Silence. A family watches their TV in the evening as lights come up.
This is our Western edition. Good evening. It began as an ordinary school day, and it was almost over when gunfire erupted this afternoon.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do.
This deadly mass shooting happened in Parkland, Florida, about 20 miles from northwest of
Newtown, Connecticut, Columbine High.
Douglas High School, attended by about 3,000 students. A suspect was taken into custody about a mile from the scene. We're going to have much more on him in just a moment. We do have extensive coverage tonight, beginning with Manuel Bojorquez in Parkland. We do caution you, some of the video you're about to see is graphic.
A law enforcement source tells CBS News the gunman appears to have pulled the school's fire alarm to create chaos and then began firing. Those who could ran, hiding in classrooms, even closets, while the shooting continued. The sight of what's become an all too familiar panic of students fleeing hands raised in single file, only matched by the images of armed tactical police racing into the building looking for the gunman. From the air, emergency crews could be seen tending to the wounded, dressing their wounds.
After he committed this horrific homicidal, detestable act.
This cell phone video captured the gunfire and the screams of the high school students trapped inside their classrooms.
As the footage continues, They react at first in shock, but then they slowly start to become bored with the coverage.
Just as the school day was ending, the shooting started.
I don't know how we're alive. Praying and crying and
Late tonight, the school district announced it would be canceling all classes and school activities for the rest of the week.
Blackout. Static is heard over the intercom. Dad is lying still on the ground. He painfully wakes up. He begins his morning routine, brushing his hair, brushing his teeth, and washing his face. As he finishes washing up, he looks at his face in the mirror. He attempts to smile. A ringing is heard in his ears. He gains control of himself again, and the static and ringing stops. He then packs his things for work. As he is packing, he sees the child's drawing. He then packs the drawing and leaves the room. The show is over. The actors take down the set and pack up.
Hey, Hannah, what's wrong?
Hey, Peter. I don't know. I just feel like what we're doing is kind of fucked up. I mean, this all feels wrong. How can we possibly tell a story that we haven't personally experienced? I mean, isn't this kind of insensitive?
Well, what do you mean?
It just feels like we're telling a story that isn't ours to tell. None of us are survivors of a school shooting, so why do we get to tell stories about their experiences?
Well, a lot of people tell stories to cope with their emotions. I know I do all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Did I ever tell you about my friend Rowan?
No.
Well, Rowan and I were best buds, and I mean, we were really close. We both went to a little town in Kansas called Ottawa to take violin lessons, and we did everything together. Even though we were from two different cities, we found any excuse to hang out. When we were in group class, we would always talk, and our teacher would have to tell us to save it for later. But we knew that we wouldn't see each other until the next week of class, so we talked. We would play video games together when we weren't in Ottawa, so we always found a way to hang out together. But after a while, we grew farther and farther apart. And then after a couple years of not talking, I was told that Rowan had died. He was shot in the street and left for dead.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know.
It's okay. It's just hard to talk about. So instead, I like to tell stories about our time together.
But did this even help? I mean, we're trying to create change about an issue that hasn't even affected us.
But it has affected us. We wanted to create change because we all have experiences with this issue, even if it's not firsthand. Even though we haven't lived through a school shooting, we've all been impacted somehow.
We all have stories. We just don't talk about them.
Well, then why don't we?
One day, during the fall of my senior year of high school, a fellow student anonymously wrote on social media that they couldn't wait to see the blood on the walls of EHS that afternoon. The entire school immediately went into lockdown for the next few hours while the campus was investigated for threats. I still remember the fear in my best friend's eyes and the texts my classmates sent to their parents. I'm okay. I love you. The threat was found not to be credible, but numerous students skipped school during the following days anyways. Police officers escorted us to our cars that afternoon and kept a presence at the school for the next couple weeks. To this day, I sit in my college classes and consciously decide what my course of action will be if a shooter walked through the classroom door.
Well, my experience is a little bit different than the other cast members. It's actually quite different. In my elementary school days, the fear of death was associated with the take cover drills with the fear of World War III, with a nuclear attack from the Soviet Union. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, which was at times noted as being the murder capital of the USA. We were not allowed to have guns in our home when I was growing up in Detroit. Now, it had to do with my father's history. Now, I realize why my parents took away and returned a toy gun that I bought when which had realistic plastic bullets. At the age of 78, I now fully understand why. Let me explain. My father grew up in a rough neighborhood in Detroit. He got hold of his father's gun, and he was to fight another boy, and if he lost the fight, he planned to shoot and kill him. Now, luckily, he won the fight, but did get in trouble with my grandmother and grandfather when they saw the holes in the ceiling of the house where my father first got hold of the gun, and it discharged. But this is only the beginning of the story. When my father was in his teens, he took a trip to Chicago, and it's here that the story of why no guns in our house when growing up started. Now I won't go into the details, but my father got shot in the chest in Chicago and nearly died. He was, of course, hospitalized in Chicago, and my grandmother had to take him back to Detroit by train. Now, growing up, he would often show us the bullet hole scar in his chest that made it clear that no guns were to be allowed in our house.
I was teaching in an elementary school when Columbine happened. I don't think it occurred to me that it would have been something that would happen again in this country. It was a tragedy, but not something that would affect me. It would be fixed, right? I don't remember being terribly affected in the next few years when I went to graduate school, but shootings continued and they moved on to college campuses, targeting professors and students and whoever they found to target. I have a vivid memory of dreaming that a student entered my office with a gun and I was desperately trying to escape when I woke up. That has stayed with me, that fear. I don't look at students as possible shooters. I don't even remember the face or if there was a face or personality behind the shooter in my dream, but I remember that panic feeling when I woke up. I can't imagine what students and teachers who have actually lived through a shooting feel, but I admire them for stepping back into the classroom or school or just learning how to get up and go again.
One of the most defining moments in my childhood was a normal Friday afternoon in my homeroom class in middle school. I remember I was wearing my signature ponytail with a blue feather in my hair, purple Converse, and a jean jacket. It was cold because it was December, and I remember it was a cloudy day. As soon as class started, our teacher turned on the small TV in the classroom. Breaking news: school shooting at an elementary school in Connecticut. A bunch of kids were dead, a bunch of teachers were dead, and even the shooter was dead. Our teacher started sobbing and had to turn the TV off. The rest of our class time was spent in silence. I don't remember what I was thinking, but I do remember that was the day, when I was 12 years old, that I began preparing myself to die at school.
It's true. The people in front of you have not survived a school shooting. But along with other students and educators across the country, we live with the tangible fear of it every day. We are the generation who has seen the highest number of school shootings in human history, and hopefully someday we will be the generation that sees the end of them. We are Generation Columbine.
Blackout.